Hello everyone. The topic of today's video is the CIA Triad. Nope, not that CIA. This one. Now, anyone within the cybersecurity field will have heard of the CIA Triad before. It is a core tenet of the world of cybersecurity and gives us a format by which we can create, edit, and utilize certain systems in the cyber world. But what is it? Well, let's dig into it. So, the first portion of this triangle is the C, which stands for confidentiality. If something is confidential, it means that unauthorized parties should not have access to that information. Certain financial information, personally identifying information or PII, intellectual property like designs for new technology, passwords, and just general private correspondence. These are all things that some people need access to, but others do not. These unauthorized parties can be either internal to an organization or external. Confidentiality essentially means that you are securing data so the wrong people don't get a hold of it. Moving on to the I for integrity. Now, in reference to a person, integrity means that they are unwavering in their beliefs and actions and won't be changed or persuaded to do anything different. Likewise, in cybersecurity, it means that the data in question does not change in any way from the original data unless the changes were authorized by the correct party. This means that the wrong people can't just change the data into something else or delete it altogether. The accidental deletion and corruption of data through any means also falls under this category. When a business or an individual saves important data to a device, whether that be a local device or the cloud, they do it under the assumption that when they choose to access it in the future, that same data will still be there and will be untampered with. Finally, we have the A, which stands for availability. Availability means that the data or systems in question will always be there to be accessed when needed. Financial data, PII, passwords, mechanical schematics, these are all things that might need to be referenced at the drop of a hat. This information is vital for the business or individual to function, so there must be a quality system in place to access it. Now, while these three elements are separate from one another, they must all work together to ensure a properly functioning and secure system. Now let's look at a very simple example, a password list. So, everyone nowadays uses passwords for just about everything, and you should be using different passwords for each account that are all long and complex. But that is a challenge to just memorize them completely, so we have to note them down somewhere. In our example, let's say that you write all of your usernames and passwords using a pen and paper. You then lock the paper in a fire-resistant safe that's hidden away in the basement of your very secure house, and you are the only one who knows the combination. Starting from the top, how confidential do you think that is? I would say it scores pretty high. I mean, there's only one copy in existence. It's held at your home where strangers are never at. It's in a hidden safe that only you know the combination to. It seems like it would be quite difficult for an unauthorized party to access and steal that information. Not impossible by any means, but very difficult nonetheless. So what about integrity? I would say that this also scores fairly high in this regard. Pen ink cannot be easily erased, and it is a fireproof safe, so it won't be easy to destroy. Since it's not digital data on a storage drive, it won't be susceptible to bit rot or digital decay. The information on the paper could be blotted out so you cannot see your own passwords, so it is slightly vulnerable in that regard. But once again, it would be very difficult to access the information in order to change or destroy it. Finally, let's talk about availability. Now, this is where we start to run into some issues here. If you are at home, then you can access the password list fairly easily. But it is a bit time-consuming and tedious to go unlock the safe every time you want to log into a different account. What if you're at work or on a vacation halfway across the country and you need to sign into an account? You have no easy way to access the list. So for here, the availability score is pretty low. Okay, by now you probably see how all three elements must work together and give and take in order to create the best result. Now, ideally, all three elements receive a high score, but sometimes it's just not possible. You might have to sacrifice a bit in one area to make up for another. But this really depends on the individual, the organization, and the data in question. Different people will have different requirements for different data or systems. The idea of the CIA triangle is a core tenet in the cyber world, and hopefully you walk away with this video with a little bit better understanding of it. Thank you, and see you next time.